Hello Pisces, how are you? Welcome to your November reading. Thanks so much for being here. I was shuffling and I had about 5 cards that just like totally popped out. So I'm going to start with these, but this one popped out upright. So I'm just going to begin with that. Okay, so we've got the Two of Pentacles coming out as the first card. Now, Two of Pentacles is neither positive nor negative. It's just an indication that things are changing. And I have a sense that a lot of you can feel or see or maybe like really have experienced a lot of change recently. And I do feel that it is more in your circumstances, but I think for a lot of you too, that has kind of carried over into the emotional and spiritual self. Now, this is associated with Jupiter. Okay, we've got the symbol of Jupiter here. Jupiter is about expansion and it is about good luck and good fortune. Okay? Good luck, good things are coming your way. Whatever changes that you've gone through, there is no doubt in my mind that it is for the best. And the hardships that you have endured are not without purpose. Now, I know you can't see the purpose of it yet because I think it's really pretty raw for a lot of you. But some of you are really getting back on track. You are getting more in touch with yourself. You're getting more in touch with your path, your purpose in life in a very big way. Some of you are taking hold of your career and your finances, and you're really stepping up in really powerful ways. And I think a lot of you over the past, I don't know, give it a year or 2 years. I'll give it like 2 years. You've discovered things about who you are. And now it's time for you to really begin setting aside your fear of expressing yourself. Because Pisces is a sign that is associated with the 12th house in the zodiac, right? Or in the wheel. It's about the subconscious. It's about dreams and imagination. And so you are kind of just by nature, by who you are, being a water sign, you are operating in a different realm. And this is a turning point for you to begin taking it out of that untangible place and giving it a place in the real world by telling people what you want, by making demands, by setting expectations in a healthy way, not an idealistic way, right? And not being, not calling you guys this, but in context, hopefully it makes sense, not being a pushover. There's strength here with this card, I believe. A lot of strength. Oh, and then we have Queen of Wands. Well, there you go. Queen of Wands associated with Aries. Aries is kind of the sign that Pisces mature into, right? Because it's the sign immediately following. So it's kind of like a more mature version of yourself. That powerful warrior spirit. Because we talk about Aries, we talk about Mars, and the warrior-like spirit, the one that takes charge, the one that isn't afraid to act, isn't afraid to talk, isn't afraid, period. And whatever it is you've went through, fear has no place anymore. And whatever hardship you went through, now is the time for you to learn those lessons and to take no crap from anybody. You know, this is a message of self-empowerment, true power for you, Pisces. And that chapter is now closed and it is left behind. Okay? Ace of Wands. See, there's new beginnings for you. The power of fire. And when we talk about the power of fire, we talk about passion, happiness, motivation, drive, This is what gets us out of bed in the morning. This is what gives us purpose. It's what holds our attention. And I think you do have, multifaceted new chapters. It's not just in the romantic realm. I think it's all around in your careers, in your financial worlds, in your friends and circles of friends, all aspects, And I think that this fiery energy here for a water sign is very, very welcome. There's self-assertiveness here. This is a promise that for some of you, a new love will enter. Heightened levels of sexuality. There's potency in terms of power. Okay? I love an Ace of Wands. Always love an Ace of Wands. And now we have the Seven of Pentacles. So this is the Lord of Success Unfulfilled, which tells me that there's potential somewhere. And that's what this is, a potential. The universe will give you an opportunity of some kind, whatever it is. And I think a lot of you will take it, and you will take it happily and gratefully. And this sense of dissatisfaction in some area of your life will quickly fall by the wayside. Because right now I do sense there is dissatisfaction, but you're in flux. It won't be there for that much longer. This is underway. Harmonious change. The transition has occurred. And now you will see the past for what it really was. You'll see the people. You'll see the circumstances. You'll see a version of yourself that kind of no longer exists. You'll see and you'll be like, wow, I can't believe I did that. Or I can't believe that was me. I can't believe I allowed that to happen. I think some of you, your boundaries are up in a positive way, not in like a, totally unavailable, never going to find love again way, but in a safety way, to keep yourself safe, because that is also something with Pisces, right? Pisces being ruled by Neptune in Western astrology. Neptune representing a breakdown of barriers can leave people susceptible to, narcissistic, empathic, codependent relationships. Being duped, being tricked, right? Believing something in someone and then getting taken advantage of. So that's no more. All of that has completely dissolved. And you'll see the past for what it really was. You did a lot. You accomplished a lot. It was not without purpose, like I said. Okay? So your future is looking bright. And there are promises of wealth, promises of love, promises of happiness and simplicity. Because the one thing I didn't mention about Two of Pentacles that I almost always say is Two of Pentacles is about stripping down unnecessary layers, getting to the brass tacks, the fundamentals of life, and operating in the most simplistic way. Because in simplicity, we find happiness. The more complex our lives become, the more stress we have, the more hats we have to wear, the more obligations we have, the less free time we have, and the list goes on and on and on. So cutting out the things that are no longer necessary in order for you to clear that path, right? To clear that path so that you can walk straight through unobstructed. And the last one that fell out, well, the Moon, the card of Pisces. Well, here we go. This has been making an appearance this month. We have the flux and reflux and the Lord of Harmonious Change. So it's about the flow for you this month. Just taking things one day at a time. I wouldn't make a lot of big plans. It's not the time for you to really project things or set things in stone, because it's all changing too much and those plans are likely to also dissolve. Okay, so just relax. Take things as they come. Say yes to dates with potentials. Have fun. No pressure for long-term relationships or long-term commitments. It's just about enjoyment. Okay? But be careful, because like I said, you're not entirely a totally new person, right? There's always that carryover. You're becoming a new person, but there's still tendencies, I think, to trust people that you likely should not be trusting, especially in a romantic sense. All right. So if you just got out of a difficult relationship, or you've been dealing with a breakup for a while now, and a date comes in, that's fine. Have fun. Go for it. But just be honest with yourself when you recognize any red flags, and truly ask yourself, is this kind of an indication that I might be repeating behavior, or is this kind of like just fear, because sometimes we're just afraid of things versus this is actually a red flag. But I think you're still kind of getting to know this new self, this more mature Queen of Wands self. And you're working through that. You're working up to that. So you don't necessarily have to put a lot of pressure on being or doing something, but rather, if you're going to put pressure on anything, put pressure on just go with the flow and see how it goes. Okay, if that's the thing to focus on, that's the thing to focus on. Sorry, I said that weird. If you're going to focus on anything, that's the thing to focus on. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull more. Okay, you've got a lot of cards really wanting to come out here. So we've got the Empress, love it, and we've got the Seven of Cups. So again, kind of that virtual world. Some of you may be doing some online dating. That kind of confusion or emotional confusion. This can often create quite a stir, because let's not forget what Jupiter actually is, right? Jupiter is the thunder planet. Jupiter is Zeus in Greek mythology, and Zeus, his weapon is the lightning bolt, right? I mean, that's his weapon of choice. So it's not like Jupiter is this easygoing, harmonious, beautiful planet. It brings about beautiful things, but it's a challenge to really get through that. You got to go through the thunderstorms first. I think you're still in the midst of the thunderstorm, okay? And there can be confusion, there can be, you can easily misconstrue things. And that's kind of what I was saying. Like, if you're going out and meeting new people and you happen to maybe meet a romantic interest of some kind, or even a business partner or something like that, and they kind of seem like there's a couple little red flags, to be honest, like, is that actually a red flag, or is that a fear of yours because of something that happened in the past? And if you're really having a difficult time differentiating between the two, it's best to just not act. Because as you are developing and kind of blossoming into this beautiful Queen of Wands, it's best to not get too complicated with people or to create complexities in your life, because it will just add to confusion, right? And you could kind of kid yourself into thinking that this is over when actually you're still in the middle of it. Illusionary success, Lord of illusionary success. So thinking you're all the way through, but not quite being all the way through. Because we've got the Seven of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles, it does indicate to me that you're not quite to that point where you're truly solid or truly on solid ground. There's a lot of new things beginning. There's a lot of new things changing. There's a lot of ins and outs and a lot of that kind of stuff. So you're not quite on firm footing. Okay. Now the Empress comes in, and she represents, I believe, a different side of you. She represents your values and your value system. She represents fairness and goodness and stability. She represents the earth. She represents the groundedness aspect of it. Okay? Yeah, the 12 stars here representing the 12 stars of the zodiac, or not 12 stars, the 12 signs of the zodiac, the 12 star signs. So this is also an indication of, because we all have every sign in our chart, right? We're not just Pisces or just whatever. And it's not even just sun, ascending, moon sign. I mean, you have your Venus, your Mars, your Jupiter, your Uranus, your Neptune, your Pluto, all these things. So you are essentially every sign. And she kind of represents the wholeness of a person. And I think that there is a path for you to getting to that wholeness, right? To highlighting and activating all of the good parts of your personality and becoming that whole person, activating your spirituality, activating your true value set. And when I say your true value set, like let's say you have your your Venus in Pisces, let's say that, right? So that's kind of your ideals and the things that you value most in life, and not only within yourself, but also with a partner or romantic interest. And so getting really in touch with those value sets. Okay, so Venus in Pisces would value spirituality, would value connectedness, would value love and relationships, would value friends and goodness, and also would value their kind of free time and their creativity. So every sign has kind of their own little thing. So this, I feel like, is really speaking to you and getting to touch with your true values. If you don't know where your Venus sign is, you should just go and Google and, astrology calculator and get your chart, whichever sign your Venus is in, and then kind of just do a Google. If your Venus is in Aquarius, type that in. If your Venus is in Leo, type that in and see kind of what types of things are associated with that. It might help you a little bit, help you develop your sense of self. Because during this time, values can really be changed, right? Values can adjust and can shift. Because maybe there was sacrifice on your values and you kind of set your own values aside for the sake of the greater picture, right? That is one thing that Pisces in a negative way can kind of be known for or prone to, because you are highly empathic. You're prone to that kind of giving all of oneself into a relationship, being all in, and kind of sacrificing that sense of self for the greater good of the relationship, right? So this is about autonomy and independence. Yeah, and the Chariot. Chariot has been making an appearance as well. So we're getting the card of Pisces and the card of Cancer, both water signs. There's a lot of mysticism in the air this month, a lot of spirituality and a lot of interconnectedness. And this is a card of triumph, a card of victory and success. Look, you're on a beautiful track. There's no doubt about it. You're on the right path, even though it doesn't feel like it, and it doesn't feel like you are where you're supposed to be because you're still at this 7 level. Well, you know what? Pretty soon you're going to be at the 8, and then at the 9, and then at the 10. And you're not going to know what hit you. But just have faith in the process. The moon is about having faith, because the moon provides just enough light for us to see the path. Just enough. Just right immediately in front of us. We can't see the whole track. We can't see the whole trail. But we can see just enough. And just know that it will guide us. And it will guide you to where you're supposed to be. And the Ace of Swords, love it. Now, the Ace of Swords demands honesty, okay? It can be harsh, it can be cruel. This is a card of Libra and Taurus, but Libra, and then we have the air sign here. And, it's fairness, And sometimes it's hard to be honest with yourself. It's hard to be honest that you failed or that you did something wrong. For some of you, you know, if you had a bad relationship, for some of you, it can really be honesty that I don't want to say it, but like you did it wrong, or you feel like you shouldn't have done as much as you did. For others of you, it's a truth coming to you about someone else. Honesty, look, the universe doesn't like it when there are secrets, right? The moon, it doesn't like it. So it forces secrets out. You know, every movie, every story, every novel that's ever told where there's been a secret, it always comes out. Always. So this is something coming out, something coming to light. Honesty, but it gives you that blank slate. Okay, now that you know this, then you can operate and move forward smoothly. Okay, and you will have a sharp insight into those true values. I don't know why I felt a need to go on such a rant about your values, but the Venus here, this little Venus symbol here, is really like pow, popping out at me, and I feel that that's something that you need to get in touch with. What do you value? Do you value emotional security? Do you value elegance? Do you value hard workers? Do you value, you know, whatever it is, because everyone's going to have different things, and it's all culturally based as well. So, and it's not what you value in other people, but what you value in yourself. Like my Venus is in Leo, and it talks about valuing Leo in the 11th house, valuing elegance, and it's so true, valuing beautiful things, one of a kind. It values loyalty, it values sexuality, it values, you know, and all sorts of things. So there's a lot of different little ins and outs there. So I'm going to just pull a couple more just to sort of, sorry, the chair is making a lot of noise. Just to kind of cap off the reading. Okay, so now we've got the 10 of Swords, which I actually really love, okay, because we've got it coupled with the Ace of Swords here. 10 of Swords means something is done. I think this is also very connected here as well, right? You wouldn't need to be going through a transitionary phase or transitory phase if you didn't hit up against that 10 of Swords. It's about the crumbling of the past and the seeds being planted for the future. And you have a lot of seeds being planted here. And the 6 of Swords. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Earned success. Success. Triumph. Right? You have succeeded, even if you don't feel like it right now. Lessons were learned, okay? You did what you had to do. You got in touch with a part of yourself that you probably didn't even know existed, okay? You're moving forward. You are like a soldier powering through. And, you know, it's taught you certain things that will prove to be invaluable in the near future, okay? 6 of Swords is a beautiful card. It's very peaceful, and it's about taking the good of what you've gone through. And then the 3 of Swords. Yeah, so some of you had some pretty nasty breakups. Some of you had some pretty nasty contract issues and are deep rooted in the healing phase. And again, this is also associated with Saturn and Libra. You have a lot of Libran energies here. So I'm wondering if some of you are feeling very out of balance. And this is kind of the universe kind of saying, it's okay, we'll get you into the balanced mode, no stress, don't worry, we'll get you there. I'm kind of feeling like that's kind of what the universe is telling you right now. And don't worry, you will get there. 3 of Swords indicates healing. All right, Six of Swords, beautiful. This is tough, yes, absolutely, but at least you know it's over because you have the beginning here as well. So you have opened officially a totally new phase, and one that you should be very, very optimistic about. And you should be very, very optimistic about the person that you have become because of what you've gone through. Okay, so don't stress so much. You're gonna be totally fine. All right. I'm gonna leave you guys with that. Thank you so much, and I will see you next month. Bye.